this chronology of my entire life. And I've never been one for pictures, but I've just got this written word that has chronicled me. And as many of you know, about 2 years ago, I had a breakdown and became quite a different person, internally, externally. But the girl on the pages didn't. She stayed the same. So I went to go visit her in light of this accomplishment, and to take a look at what she had to say, what she wanted, what she was talking about, what was important to her. And it was interesting. I found these questions arising over and over and over in my own work. And the questions were, why can't I just be happy? Why does it have to hurt this bad? Is it always going to hurt this bad? And will this ever stop? And I kept thinking I found the answer to those questions. And I would go to a college to get this shiny degree, and I would think that that was going to solve all my problems. Or I would become a feminist, and I thought that was going to solve all my and the world's problems. And then when that would get tiresome, I would go to being the housewife, and I would think that that would solve all my problems. And then I would become the artist, and then the scientist, the musician. I really was thinking about being an athlete for a while, but that wasn't going very well. So I tried all these things, and none of them worked. But they would work for a second, you know? They work for a second, and you really get this feeling of hope. But it's only working because it's novel, because it's something new, and that's the only reason. And then the same old discomfort sets in. Like, why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just be happy like all those people out there who look so happy, right? Those imaginary magical people who have it all figured out. And it hurts, you know, because you feel like you're always pulling for other people's approval. Pulling specifically for the approval of the people that refuse to approve of anything you do, who every single time that you meet their standards set it up just one level more, so you can't ever really make it. Or you want to make it to that sum of money, or you want to make it to that ideal weight, or you want to make it to looking like that girl in that magazine. But it never really quite works. And you know what the worst thing is? It's believing that if I graduate at the top of my class, learn the solo from Fade to Black, find the love of my life, everything will be perfect. And then you graduate at the top of your class, as I did. And then I learned the solo from Fade to Black, badly. But all the notes were in there, in the right order. Found the love of my life, but still, where's this elusive happiness, right? Where's my treat? Where's this thing that's supposed to make me happy? And I think what I came to, and what I have come to, again and again and again, and what I have to keep reminding myself of, is that the question is not what is supposed to make me happy. The question is what does. Because you know what, if I had a PhD, and my parents were really proud of me, but that's not what I want, that's not going to make me happy. If I look like the girl in the magazine, and I don't want to look like the girl in the magazine, and does anybody? Because I don't look like the girl in the magazine, right? It doesn't make me happy. Or if my bank account ever reaches X amount of dollars, will that make me happy? And it doesn't, right? Because the truth is, happiness is a byproduct of a relationship you have with yourself. There's a part inside of you, like this little inner child, right? Whose hand you're always holding. Who's asking you, why are we doing this? Where are we going? What's going on? Constantly. And you're giving it answers, right? And what happens when you make a kid happy? Kid makes you happier, right? Kid gets really excited. Yeah, we're going to this place, we're gonna go do that. So what happens when you tell the kid, oh, we're going out and getting a PhD? And the kid's like, but I wanted to be a musician. They're like, we're going to get a PhD. What does the kid do, right? The kid stops responding. And so all of those positive emotions that we seek all that happiness is just our inner self responding to the things that we're doing. And any sort of search outside of us for that happiness is simply a byproduct of pissing off our authentic self. Because when you piss off your authentic self, it stops giving you good feelings. And then you start thinking that you can find them in other people and drugs and drink and money and all this stuff, right? But there's only one thing inside of you that's going to give you those positive feelings. And only you know, right? I see some nodding, and like, you know what it is, right? So I mean, what stands in the way? What's in the way? Fear, right? We're scared, we're so scared. And like, I was really scared. I've talked a lot about fear to some of you tonight. And, I don't think the problem is fear. I think the problem is that we're lying to ourselves about fear. Because let's look at what we did when we were children. We read the storybooks, right? We read the storybook, and the knight goes out and slays the dragons and climbs up into the tower and then falls off and loses the sword and then has to overcome all of these battles, and it's intense and there's problems and there's obstacles, but those are the good parts, right? I mean, think about this first story. Man always gets everything he's ever wanted, and then he wants something else, and he gets it, no problem. The end. Good story, right? Like, do you want that? Do you really want that? But that's what your fear tells you. Your fear is like, nope, want to go A to B, no problems, no fears, no obstacles, nothing, right? And the two things I've learned from chasing my dreams are, number one, most of the fears never come true. And number two, when they do come true, it makes for a really good story. And that's what you want, right? That's how you inspire people. You tell a good story. So what can you start doing, right? What's your step one? You get out of here, what do? Well, I dare you. I dare you to discover yourself. I dare you to build the kind of relationship with yourself that you would build with a person that you're like really attracted to. Somebody that you just want to ravish. That kind of relationship, where you want to know everything about them, where you want to find out what they want and give it to them, where you want to find out what makes them unique, what do you want to get them for Christmas, what kind of colors do they like, what kind of sounds do they like, what makes you really genuinely happy. With the same kind of passion that you would follow a rumor, with the same kind of passion that you could also drink yourself into a stupor, the same passion that you could dance to your favorite band, or get into the election, or fall in love with someone else, right? Fall in love with yourself, and then you know. Because when you love somebody, you know them inside and out, right? You know what to get them for Christmas. You know what they need, you know what they want. Because really without that, there's no happiness, there's no hope, there's no healing, and nothing will ever be better until this relationship gets better. And I say you, right? But I'm up here because this is a lesson I've had a hard time learning. And some of you that have known me the longest are like, yeah. But now I know what my emotions mean, right? And I didn't used to. I used to get emotions and I used to say, these must go away. How do I numb these as fast as possible? These suck. And now I get an emotion, and especially the one where I want to seek pleasure from the outside, right? I want someone to give something to me. I want to make some sort of money. I want to start measuring myself in numbers, measuring yourself in the bank account, measuring yourself by your Amazon author rank, which if any of you ever write a book, it doesn't even mean anything. You don't even know what it means. It doesn't tell you how many books you're selling. It's just a rank, right? Just an arbitrary number that changes every hour that you can sit there and watch and try to be validated. But if it ain't one, and maybe even when it is, right? Because that's not where it comes from, right? Because every single time that I'm doing that, what's happening is that I'm out of touch with myself. If I feel the need to seek pleasure from outside of myself, I'm exiting my relationship with myself, right? Not getting my own pleasure, not making myself happy, going somewhere else. I'm cheating, right? Sometimes I cheat with my partner. How many times have I cheated on myself with him? Right? How many times have I cheated on myself with money? How many times have I cheated on myself with drugs or books even, or a good conversation? How many times have I walked away from myself saying, this is too hard? And then what happens the next morning after you're done cheating? You come back and your authentic self is pissed, right? Like, well, where have you been, right? And that's what we're all coming home to, right? But ultimately, if you approach that part of yourself on your knees, right? As in, I'm done trying. I'm done trying to seek happiness here and here and here. I'm done trying. I'm done not listening to your advice. I'm done, right? I'm on my knees. I'm ready to hear it. That part of you, it'll tell you what you want, right? And that part of you is so wise, so deeply wise, that it has never and will never raise its voice. So all the anger, all the anxiety, all the thoughts that get in the way, that just drowned it out, right? As soon as you have the courage to open up to that inner wisdom and hear its very quiet voice and ask it, what do you want from me? Like, really? It'll tell you, right? I promise. It will. And that is the only way to be happy. And if you think about it, it's actually really simple. Yeah. Thank you.